Welcome back to the Perfect Season podcast. It's your host, Antonio. Alex will be back next week after he finishes up classes at FSU. Frankie, Leon, and Jake will get a big episode coming up soon. But right now, we got the Frozen Pirate podcast again, and we're going over the Bucs draft of the picks they made through days 1 through 3. And if we have time, we'll dive into a little bit more of what the heck happened in this draft? What was with the reaches? What was this? What was that? But first and foremost, let's go dive right into it. Bucks pick at pick 19. There was a lot of rumors trade up, trade down. And
Yep.
then, I was getting a little antsy there for a second. I thought Will Levis was going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. You
I
know,
didn't
the
think so,
person
man.
the person who put mayonnaise in his coffee and eats
Ah,
banana peels whole. I don't
oh
drink
my.
coffee and I don't eat bananas, but that's just disgusting.
That right there would make me not want to pick him.
Yeah.
As a
But
GM, man, that's just weird.
Tampa
But hey, to each his
went,
own.
yeah. Tampa went on the opposite side of the ball. They chose defense. And, but this pick struck me at first. Like, I was like, okay, I wasn't a fan of it at first, actually. And, after reading a little bit about him, watching some highlights, I'm like, he's starting to grow on me. I'm like, and then I'm thinking like compare him with Vita Vey, put him on that D line. It's gonna be a great D line, great
Absolutely.
defense. You
Absolutely.
know,
I agree. I mean, I like what have I been saying? They have to build this defense around Vita Vea. They need to get him help. And they did with free agency. And now, I was a guy that wanted Nolan Smith. I said, if you can trade down and get Nolan Smith, do it. I mean, we've seen where Nolan Smith
yeah,
went, but we'll get to that in a bit. But I mean, it was a good pick. It was a smart pick. The kid had 14 sacks in 2 years, I believe. He ran a 4.6.
yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, he's
He's
for
not
his
the biggest
stature.
dude, but he's
Yeah,
not. It's not
I
like
think
it.
I think he'll complement Vita Vea because, like I said,
Yeah,
Vita Vea is that anchor of that defense. You get what I'm
yeah.
saying? So
I
I just think that with him, it was a safe, smart pick. They
yeah.
didn't reach. It could have been a lot worse. They could have went out
Yeah,
and you know what I'm saying? They could have
yeah.
grabbed somebody completely that was just like,
I was
whoa,
afraid it was gonna be like a Will Levis or they were gonna reach for an
yeah,
Anton Harrison. I mean, I would have been okay with Anton Harrison,
hmm
protect Trask or Mayfield.
yeah.
But, you know, after that, we go into round two, day two, pick 48. The Bucks trade up with Green Bay to take this. And I know you're happy about this.
My boy, I'm buying his
Cody
jersey.
Cody Mount.
I'm buying his jersey.
I'm a fan. I like his personality, honestly. Maybe I'll get a jersey, maybe not. You never know. But
Yeah.
I like this pick. It's bolstering the offensive line now. They just came out moving Tristan Wirfs to left tackle,
Yeah, I
Ryan Jensen
believe
at center.
yeah,
So
I believe they're gonna put
Malk's gonna fill that. He's gonna fill that right guard spot, and I think he's
yeah.
gonna fit right in just perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, him and Redman on the same line makes me pumped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He's a big boy, man. He's 6'5", 302.
yeah,
He's a big boy. He can like I always say, he can push the pilot. If he can
hmm
always play guard, he actually played tackle too. But
yeah,
I believe in the Senior Bowl he played guard and he wowed a lot of people.
yeah,
But I called it, man. I even the people don't know, but I
yeah.
actually DM'd Jason Light, and I doubt he read the message. But I said, man, with that second pick, you got to go get Cody Mauch. You have to do it.
I
Him and
mean,
Redman on the same line
yeah.
is just
And
so. If
now
you
that
look at
means you have Cody Malk, Ryan Jensen, and also Coke Keith, all redheads,
Yeah. But if you look at
and
our
Trask.
offensive line, yeah, if you look at our offensive line now, it's
It
starting to
looks
look a lot
complete.
better. It looks complete. It looks good. You know what I'm saying? So
hmm
that's why it was a good pick. It was a smart move.
Yeah.
Um, I say somebody from the Buccaneers owes me money for giving that suggestion,
And
but it was
then
a good
yeah,
pick.
going into round three now. The third round, there were still some names there that were available.
Mhm.
And like, people like Keely Ringo were available, Antonio Johnson. I was thinking they're going to go safety or secondary. And I
Yeah.
was actually listening to one of the radio shows I listened to, and one of the co-hosts had the Bucks actually taking this pick, Yaya Diaby, out of
Yes.
Louisville. And it is what it is. But like you could have got him in the fourth or the fifth round. I feel like this was a little bit of a reach, and there were some other good people there, some other good players. But, like I said, and like you said, they're wanting to fill that linebacker edge position, get faster on defense. Maybe this could be the player that passes on from Levante David
Yeah, I
if
mean,
Devin White gets traded.
I mean, if we'll get into it a little bit later, but
Yeah.
you can tell they're going to be moving on from Devin White. Like
Oh yeah.
there was some some drafting that I was just like, okay, they're
They
serious
were
about
they
it.
were filling positions.
Oh yeah.
I think
Um,
I honestly think they're gonna have Devin White play this year and then he signs elsewhere next year.
I
And
mean,
you
they
get
could
that third
tag
round
him.
pick for him.
I think they're gonna tag him.
Yeah.
They're not gonna just let him walk, so that's the good thing. But I really like this pick. This kid, he wows me though. I know
Yeah.
it's not a popular pick, but I mean,
Like an
considering what
under the
Todd
radar.
Bowles, yeah, like what Todd Bowles likes to do on his defensive schemes and stuff. So I believe what you're gonna see a lot of is rotating. They're gonna
Hmm.
rotate, kind of like what Philly did.
Yeah.
They're gonna rotate. So I think you're gonna see a little bit a different version of Todd Bowles' defense. I think he's gonna blitz like a mother this year.
Oh
I think
yeah.
he's got it's go big or go home for him now. I mean, but
Because
I mean
he's
it.
risking his job if he doesn't.
Oh yeah. But overall, I like this kid. 6'3", 263 pounds. And he's playing on a good defensive line, and he's versatile. So what this shows me with this pick is that hey, Joe Tryon Shoyinka is
It's a
really
prove it year.
not. Yeah, it's not really. Excuse me, it's not working out. So now the reason why I say I love this draft class is because everybody's job is at stake.
Yeah.
Now it's like you're going to see competition heat up in training
Oh
camp
yeah.
now.
I'm
So,
excited to go to
and
training camp now.
lucky man, I think so. Like I said, I'll be in Tampa June 30th. I'm going to stay the whole week of that 4th of July. I forget what day we're coming back. So
Yeah.
I will not be able to get a chance to go down there for training camp.
Yeah.
That's a goal of mine soon, though. Soon.
Yeah, yeah, soon, eventually. And then they did not have a fourth pick this year, but
No.
going into round five, you take out of Pittsburgh again, take Cerveka Dennis, a linebacker, and like we said,
Cervasia, I think it's
Cervasia,
Cervasia Dennis. Yeah,
I see
Cervasia
things how I
Dennis.
pronounce it, but
Yeah, I hear you. Some of these names, man, they're getting tougher and tougher,
oh
dude.
yeah, like they're getting tough, tough, and tough, but it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I think like I said, they're filling positions. Is this going to be someone they're going to pass the torch to? Well, like Levante David, because I think this is
I
his
think
last
so.
year.
I
It
think
could be
so.
a
I think,
possibility.
yeah,
I'd like to
the
see how
kid
he does his rookie year.
the kid's got some speed.
Yeah,
He reminds me a lot of Levante David. I think he needs to put on a couple of pounds though. I mean,
yeah.
I think he's only like 220 or something like that. I like to see him
He,
get to at least maybe 230, two thirty
yeah,
five. But he's 6 feet. He can run. He's quick.
yeah.
Um, I like the pick, and we're going to see a lot of them on special teams. I'm really excited for the preseason to see
Oh
all
yeah.
these kids. You
See
know,
all them like fit in the scheme.
yeah, because I feel like everybody that they drafted this year, I'm really hyped up for, man.
Yeah.
Like, what's his
Bro,
face?
I went from predicting them to go 2 and 14, maybe 4 and 13, to
Yep.
maybe a 7, 8 win team.
I think maybe more. I think they're going to get that wild card, man. If I know we're going to get off a little off topic here, but
Yeah.
if this draft class, I believe if this draft class, which I know they can, if they do work out, I
Yeah.
think that they can do some damage. But I mean, there is a foe in the NFC South that we'll get to in a little bit.
Well,
Um,
looking at the draft,
that
like not getting off topic here, but the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints all had mediocre draft classes.
yeah. Did you hear what what's his face said about
Bryce
who
Young,
was it?
yeah.
Yeah,
That
he's like he's got to
Elijah
see me two
Chansey,
years.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I like
like when
that.
players are like that. They have a little
I like that.
little crap talk to them.
If you
But
will, John Gruden era, some
yeah.
juice.
I'm gonna
We don't
try and
mention
go.
that name here.
I'm gonna try and go to the game in Charlotte actually, because I'm going to Boone.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm gonna try and go. I'm gonna try and go to that game. But
nice.
going into round five, you take Payne Durham, tight end, finally
Love the
grab,
name.
yeah, grab your offensive weapon, your tight end, he's going to be competing now for the starting spot.
Yeah. How do you
Like,
feel about Kate Otten though? Like, how do you feel
I
about
mean,
this tight
I'd
end
give him another
rotation?
year.
Yeah, you
I
have
would,
to.
me personally, I'd always tell everyone, don't judge one person after one game or one season.
Yeah,
Like, look at Peyton Manning, for crying out loud.
that was a rough first year. That
Rough
was a rough
first
first
year,
year.
rough first couple of years, and then he pans into things.
Yeah,
You just can't judge one person.
yeah. I really
And me
like for tight
personally, I've
ends.
been saying this since we drafted this person, Kyle Trask. Give
Yeah,
him his time.
that's what I said.
Look at
Give
the
me.
senior year stats between him and Burrow. I know it
Yeah,
was only senior year of college. Trask did better,
no, I know. I mean,
but
we're gonna
Burrow's
see it.
also made it to the playoffs and
Yeah,
was in the Super Bowl. But that's a story for another day. But I
I
still
mean,
think I think personally Trask is gonna prove a lot of people wrong.
I think so too, man. I also there's a kid too that I really like for that tight end room, Keith.
Yeah,
I really like him, man. He's built
another
like a
rookie.
tank. He's built like a tank, and every time I seen
Yeah.
Brady throw the ball to him, he caught it. He made a couple of splash plays, man. And I'm
Mhm.
curious to see. You know where I wouldn't mind him seeing? I
Who?
wouldn't mind them utilizing him as a fullback, almost into a
Yeah.
fullback position. I
He
think
has
that
that
would be
build.
cool. Yeah, I think they got that's a dying position though,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So
And going into round six, your first of three, you take defensive back Josh Hayes out of K-State. I like this pick. It wasn't a player that's like, oh, out there, whatever, blah blah blah. It's another one of those under the radar players, and I have a friend that goes to K-State,
yep.
and you know, I like the pick. There was a lot of K-State players that got drafted. K-State produces great athletes.
Oh
I
yeah,
like the pick, and I think that he's going to be a day one starter.
think so. He's got a battle with Zion
He's
McCullough, and I like that.
he's in a battle with
Again,
McCollum, and also, but you have Winfield,
yep.
and you lose John Murphy Bunting, but you also have Carlton Davis, and then you have cannot think of the secondary's names.
It's Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean,
That's who it was.
Zion McCollum.
I think he'll be rotating with Zion a
Yeah,
majority of the time, and then
Zion showed some promising plays, but
yeah,
he needs to work on just he needs to slow down and he needs to like
yeah,
take the game for what it is. He's you can tell he's too eager to try and make a play, and
yeah,
he needs to just I hate to say this, but it's the truth, and Belichick says it best: just do your job.
yeah.
I feel like he's trying to make splash plays like Jameis did. Like just
Uh,
no, just do your job. So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. Like I said, this
and
draft
then
class, I'm
we
excited.
can get onto this forever, but going into our last two picks, this was an interesting one. I think you know where I'm going with this. You trade up and you take Trey Palmer, a wide
Yeah,
receiver. I think they took him for the speed, and you're gonna use him on special teams. And
I
then
mean, you
he
can't
has
really
had a
have.
couple. He's had a couple drops here and there.
Yeah,
I'll admit. Like I'm looking at. I mean, looking at his stats also in the regular season of college, and just looking. He's had a couple stats, but he has the speed.
yeah. I mean, you can't have like Rashad White. I know they had Rashad White returning kicks, and I
Yeah,
don't think that's the plan for him this year. I think they're trying to go in a safer direction. I like this pick. It's a good pick because we need speed in that
yeah,
wide receiver room. Maybe this is a kid that can kind of take the top off for a defense.
Mm,
Because I want to
yeah,
see Mike and Chris. I like when Mike, believe it or not, Mike and Chris, they're more deadly on those short to medium routes
yeah,
because Mike can get 10 to 15 yards after the catch. Chris Godwin can get 10 to 15 yards after
yeah.
the catch and then some.
And
So
then
maybe this is just something to kind of just take the top off the defense.
yeah,
Then again, I don't know what this Dave Canales offense is. I'm like a kid on Christmas, man. I'm pumped, man. I'm
yeah.
curious to see.
And then going in with the last pick, you took Jose Ramirez, the defensive outside linebacker, defensive
Yeah,
end,
safe pick.
Say
Safe
go
pick.
safe route. That's probably a depth pick, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, William Golson hasn't re-signed.
Not
Um,
yet, but he's also getting up there in age.
yeah.
So I
So
think that and this is where I'm saying they're getting younger at the positions they're getting older at. Look at defensive line, look at secondary. Those players are getting up there in age, so it's
yeah,
like, you know, it is what it is, but I think they're gonna be young, fast, speedy at defense this year.
yeah. Like I
And
said, I'm
then
excited. It looks good. Like I
yeah,
said, what would you give this draft?
honestly,
Honest opinion.
I mean, at first I was like maybe a B, maybe a
All
B.
right.
And then, going in and reading about these players, because all I do for work is just drive cars, so I just listen to podcast after podcast and
Yeah.
learning more about these players. I'd give it like maybe an A minus.
I give it a solid B plus, because
B
I
plus A
feel like
minus.
a solid B plus because I feel like in they there was I wanted Brian Branch so bad and he
Yeah,
dropped.
he did.
He
So
dropped. I
did
was
Keely.
shocked.
Keely Ringo was a player that dropped.
Yeah, like it was. This was a weird draft,
It
man.
was.
It was awkward, just
I'll admit it was a weird draft.
it
Like
was a weird draft. I felt like I was in like the Twilight Zone, like watching
it
some of
was
these
like
picks come
why were
in.
half these people falling and like
Yeah, you're starting
it
to get
was
concerned. Like,
interesting.
yeah, like I was sitting here preaching to like, why, man? I'm like Brian Branch, and
Branch
then like
was
I seen him
there.
dropped. He
Yeah,
dropped. So
Levis dropped.
when I seen Branch drop, I'm like, holy crap, we actually have a chance. Like, are we gonna get Cody Mock and Brian Branch, the two
Yeah.
guys that I really wanted?
Where did
But I
Branch end
mean,
up going?
I think he winded up going to Seattle.
I thought he
I
wanted.
want
I think he
to
wanted
actually,
Detroit.
did he? Oh yes, he did go to Detroit.
Yeah,
Who was it that went
Detroit
to
had a sneaky
Seattle?
good draft.
They did. They did. They got Hendon Hooker too. So I
Yeah, I
mean,
wanted him in
they
Vegas.
yeah, I mean they're building something over there.
And then
Um,
looking at the UDFA's that we signed, local, just local people and some
yeah,
out of state. The one running back I'm looking forward to seeing is Sean Tucker, the running back out of Syracuse.
I've heard some good things about him.
Ronnie Brown, running back out of
Yep,
Shepherd. Cade
that was another
Warner,
one.
Kurt Warner's son, the
Yep,
receiver. Raheem Jarrett, Ryan Miller, another receiver. Tay Barber, Tanner Tallulah, tight end. Luke Haggard, Salas Zanzi, butchering names at left and right,
names again, tougher and
And
tougher,
then just
man.
like,
I'm telling you.
another one, I don't think this website updated, but freaking whatchamacallit, I can't think of it. There was the person they took out of USF, Dwayne Bowles.
Okay, yep,
He we local, very local school over here in
yeah,
Tampa. And I love that pick. I was reading something, and yes, USF wasn't one of those best teams in football, one and
yeah,
11 this year, but they have good players, and a couple other players got free UDFA's, and also some got UDFA, some got mini camp invites, and
yeah.
Dwayne Bowles is a player that I would like to see maybe go to training camp, see what he can do, and if
Compete.
anything, make the practice squad. It's just
Yeah,
a depth pick, and I like that pick. But
yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, I think we have a big infusion of youth now. And the Bucks kind of
yeah,
needed that. Um, And it's good. I mean, especially with they drafted a lot of defensive ends slash
yeah.
linebackers, And before we end this, I just want to give my condolences to Shaq
Oh,
Barrett and
yeah,
his
yeah,
family.
same.
Oh my God, man.
It's
That's
so terrible.
yeah, like I have a 5-year-old
Yeah,
and there was an incident that we had like one summer. We were all barbecuing. I think it was like not Memorial Day. I think it was actually 4th of July week. We were actually having
yeah,
a barbecue with a bunch of friends and family. So in my backyard, I have a pool, and then like half of like the yard is like sand. I make like a little beach area. This is like, after COVID hit, you couldn't go to the beaches, so I brought the beach to my house.
yeah,
So uh, I winded up keeping the stand for a while, and it was really hot that day, and my kid was sweating profusely. He had to be like 3 years old at the time, three and a
yeah.
half. And all of a sudden, like I just looked down for like 2 seconds and I'm doing something. Then I look over, I seen him like hunched over, like he looked dead. And
Yeah.
I ran to him and like I shook him like to wake him up to the water and he woke up. He had heat exhaustion. That
Yeah.
was extremely scary.
Hmm.
What went through me was like, oh my, like that feeling, like, oh my God, like that's, I don't know what I would do. I wouldn't be the same person if I lost my son. So what he's
Right.
going through, I could never imagine. Like, so who knows how he's gonna feel going into the season? I wouldn't even mind if he took the season off because
Yeah.
that's a completely understand. Your mind is not there. Like to
Right.
lose a child that young is terrible, terrible. But my thoughts and my condolences to his family. That's
Yeah.
just such a terrible thing. Wow,
But getting back
that
onto the track
sucks.
of football here, I know it's terrible to hear,
Yeah.
but going into not Bucs related, but still with the draft, who do you think had the best draft? Who had the worst draft? A player that's going to be great, a player that was a reach, and a bust,
All right.
and an
So I
underrated player.
I think the team that had the best draft was obviously the Philadelphia Eagles. They're
The
just,
Philadelphia Bulldogs.
yeah, exactly. They're building something there.
Georgia
The worst
Dynasty.
draft, yeah, the worst draft would have to be the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
A
They
reach,
traded up they traded up like 20
it
picks
just
just to
me,
take its kicker.
yeah, it just makes no sense. Like I think it's like Bill Belichick trolling us at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you know, um, a very to me an overrated pick. Um,
I think the Anthony Richardson at 4.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to agree with that. It was between that or what's his face from Green Bay.
Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah, just because the Packers. I would say the Packers reached. I agree with you on
I
that one.
would
The Packers definitely
say
reached.
I would say the linebacker that Detroit took in the 18th pick.
Um,
I can't think of his name.
for
But
reach, I don't know. I'm sold on the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think they should have
mm,
did that. I think they should have.
yeah.
That's somebody. I don't think anybody was really trying to draft him in the first round.
No. He
So
I mean he went before Levis, I'll say that.
I think like we talked about this in one of the first ones, man.
Yeah.
Just because you have a good pro day and you have a good scouting combine, all of a sudden, you
Yeah.
know
It's just
that it's you really have to do like it's tough, man. To really like, I tip my hat off to
mm,
whoever's scouting these guys.
yeah.
Just and it's not just one or 20. You're scouting a lot of people,
Hmm.
and you have to find what works for your team.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I think the team that had a very underrated draft, and they're right in our division, and I know you're probably not going to agree with me, is the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Bajan Robinson going to the Falcons. Buck fans, mark my words, that's going to be a team to watch out for a little bit. Kyle Pitts, baby Mike Evans, and
Yeah.
Drake London, and now Bajan Robinson. I'm telling you, if their quarterback can get it together, that's a dangerous offense. But they
Yeah.
still need defense. They still need defense.
They
And
need
I'm telling you,
that's why I was thinking they were gonna go defense. I thought they were going defensive heavy in the first round.
yeah. I
But
mean, I could see why they made that pick because, like I said, right now, if you look at the NFC South,
that's a division.
the offenses are mediocre right now. You're not
I think
worried about Tom Brady.
also with the whole Will Anderson going to Houston,
Yeah,
the you trade the 3, you trade up. I thought they were taking Jackson Smith and Jigba,
yeah.
but
I
they're
mean,
I don't know. I mean, it was just like I was reading something saying the coach wanted defense, but the owner wanted offense, and you
yeah,
had to go with what the owner said. And
yeah.
then you trade your that's why they traded the third pick, and you get your defensive player. But another interesting one, Stetson Bennett in the fourth round. He went to the
I mean,
Rams.
I can
I
see
mean,
why the
I
Rams
can
did
I
that.
can play devil's advocate and say, oh, that's a good pick. I can also play devil advocate, that's a bad pick. You
I
know,
think it's because of
I
the off the field issues. I
it's
think
the
he did
off the
really
field
well at
issues. There's
Georgia.
two things. There's two things.
Yeah,
Off the field issues. Also, like Jameis had off the field issues. And
yeah,
then also, he's 25 years old. You know who also
yeah,
is 25 years old? Sam Darnold.
yeah, yeah,
And Darnold's been in the league for 4 or 5 plus years. And Stetson Bennett's a rookie, being
yeah.
at 25. But it's
Yeah.
just,
Didn't
it
we
was
see
an
this before
interesting
too? With
who?
Brandon Weeden, I think it was. Remember with the
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns? What did they do in the draft?
Yeah.
Them guys, man. Oh man.
I mean,
That's why I always tell Buck fans it could always be worse. You could be a Browns fan.
you could be a Browns fan. That's
To be a
true. Like
Browns fan.
this draft, for the longest time, I thought we were going to take, I thought it was going to be Levis at 19, honestly. I really did. And then I think it was just like,
I didn't think they were going quarterback just because of this. So you
there
have
was a
Kyle
small
Trask, you have
possibility.
there was, but I couldn't see them taking that because so say if you draft Will Levis, right? He's not gonna get reps
No.
that he needs. So you got to think about it. So 50, so say there's 120 reps to go.
Yeah.
50 reps for Baker, 50 reps for Kyle, and then you got 20 reps for Will Levis. That's
Yeah.
not much, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's okay because the worst that's going to happen is the Bucs crap the bed
Yeah.
and we have a low pick, and then now you got Caleb Williams. Like
True. I mean,
you
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
not wanting to get into 2024, but
No, I don't even want to
I
touch
don't
on
even
that.
want
That's
to.
way too
I
far.
got the
Yeah,
notification for the draft, and I was like, you know, I just want to see where it predicts
mm-hmm.
Tampa taking or picking whatever, blah blah blah. Just for curiosity, I was picking number
Yeah,
three.
yeah.
I'm like, I
I
don't know.
mean,
I
it's
think,
whatever.
like I've been saying, I think Kyle Trask is going to prove it this year that he is going to be QB1 in his franchise.
Do you think he's going to be QB1 right off the rip?
That's what they've been saying.
I think what's going to happen. Oh,
I think him and Baker battle it out in preseason.
they're definitely going to battle it out. The
Did
thing
they
is,
sign any QBs for UDFA? I know they got the
I'm
dude
not
from
sure. I don't
FIU in
think so.
UDFA. There's one
I'm
dude I
not.
think.
I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look that up. I'd have to check it out. But
Because
I,
if they didn't, it's gonna be 50-50 to see preseason. Do you give Trask one half and Mayfield the other?
I'm okay with that, man. Like I said, these two guys need to battle it out. I want to see what Trask has, but I'm also curious, man. I'm not gonna lie. I do like Baker Mayfield. I like what he
Yeah.
can bring to the table, what he
He
can
has a
bring
good
to the
arm.
table. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I have a feeling that it's gonna Baker's gonna be the day one starter.
Mm,
The only way Trask is gonna get that job is if Baker goes down.
yeah.
Because if Baker is playing at a high level, let's just say, hey, the Bucs got grit, they're nasty. The offense is clicking with Baker.
Yeah.
What do you do with Kyle Trask? And that's what sucks because you
That's
don't
why
know.
honestly I think you start Trask. You have to start him week 1.
I don't think
See
they're
what
going
he
to
has in the
though.
tank.
I don't think they're going to. I think it's Baker's job. I honestly do, man.
Baker's
I think
job. I honestly think like I could get into this debate any like whatever about it, but like it's just so interesting to see what's gonna happen.
I
And
think
then
we have a
here's my
very
thing.
interesting
Here's
we
my
have an
thing.
interesting offseason.
What if both those two QBs get hurt? Who do you bring in?
I mean, it all depends. I mean, there's going to be there's going to be free agency, but
There's gonna
do
be there's gonna be a
you
lot
have
of
the money to
cuts.
bring somebody in? That's the problem. Like
Who's
after
gonna
they
take a
sign
pay cut?
these, yeah. I mean, um, a guy that's out there, if
That's
this
still
was to
available.
happen, I think the only decent guy you could possibly bring, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, is if by the grace of the universe that these two guys get hurt. Um, Cam Newton might be a possibility. Just saying. Just saying.
I mean, what about Ryan
But I
Griffin?
don't want to. I don't really want to even
I don't
fathom that.
want to. I don't want to put that pot in the table. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I don't
I
want to
hear you.
say. I don't want to say. Oh, what happens if these two get? What if these two get hurt? What are you gonna do? What are you
Yeah,
gonna do if these two get hurt? Like I don't want to say that, but I've been hearing a lot of maybe bring back Ryan Griffin.
you could.
I've always been
The
devil's
problem,
advocate for him.
yeah, he was with the Bucs for a long time, man.
Or
I was
this
just
is another thing that I've been hearing. You know, you have Drew Law. Not there goes my there goes my pick. I meant to say you have Dave Canales. Bring in Drew Lock.
you could. I mean, he's that's still an option on the table, man. So honestly, I think what the Buccaneers honestly have to do is they have to figure out, and I've been saying this. So you have two guys on this team. You're going to need a third quarterback, obviously, because we've seen what happened with the 49ers.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And
you're going to
is
need a
there a
third guy.
possibility you trade for Trey Lance?
I don't think so. I think John Lynch, I know he's a legend of a Buccaneer, but he ain't gonna. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
wants top pick for him. It ain't gonna be a discount.
No.
Um, like I said, one of these guys is the future of the Buccaneers the next 2 to 3 years.
I
We just
honestly
got to figure out
feel
who it is.
I think it's Trask's prove it here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want Baker to thrive, but
Oh,
like again, I'm a
I
bit.
want both the quarterbacks to succeed.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying like looking at it in the long term perspective,
yeah,
I could see Kyle Trask is younger, and I feel like Kyle Trask is the guy. That's just me
yeah.
personally. I feel like he's gonna prove a lot of people wrong this year.
Did you see them at the Lightning game? Both of them. It
I
was so
wasn't
awkward.
working yet. I wasn't working yet.
Uh,
I
it
was out
was
of
so
town.
it was so awkward seeing. So Baker
Yeah.
didn't know too much about the Lightning, as he said, and
No.
then he's wearing a Tampa Bay Lightning
But
jersey with his name on it.
yeah.
Did you see
But
that?
yeah. Unfortunately, we do have less than a minute in this episode.
I
But
told you,
we
man.
gotta get another episode soon. But
We got to do. We'll do part two.
yeah,
We'll
we'll
do
do a
part
part
two.
two.
We'll
And
do
thank you to
part
the
two.
men and women who serve in the armed forces. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you like, what don't like. The gist. And we'll see you on the next one.